Hello everyone, welcome back to Loft 801. My name is Diego and today's video is a review of You Won't Be Alone. It's a horror drama directed by Gore and and was released on April 1st, 2022. The story follows a young girl named Nevena who is cursed as a witch. However, before I hop into my review, please take a second to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I really appreciate it, and if you didn't hit subscribe, hopefully by the end of this video I can convince you to leave a like. This review will contain spoilers, so continue at your own risk. Lastly, if there's something you want to see reviewed, leave a comment and I'll get to it. Thank you. We're hopping in 3, 2, 1. I felt the start of the movie was strong. It felt very reminiscent of a fairy tale. Not a Disney fairy tale, a Brothers Grimm fairy tale. Nevena is born in a 19th century Macedonian mountain village. Old Maid Maria is a mythical witch who plans on eating her until Nevena's mother strikes a deal to give her up when she turns 16. Maria accepts and cuts Nevena's vocal cords to seal the deal. It's a grim scene and was hard to watch. 16 years later, we see Nevena has grown up in solitude, stashed away in a cave by her mother in an attempt to protect her. Her mother visits periodically, and one day a raven flies into the cave. This raven is Maria and kills her mother, taking over her corpse. Leading Nevena out of the cave, she then curses her to become a witch like her. In a gruesome and bloody scene, Maria reverts back to her normal form. The transformations Maria and later Nevena take are difficult to watch. They're really bloody and they make me feel uneasy. Maria is a cruel and cold witch, and after a few days, Nevena fights her. Maria is angry and leaves her to fend for herself. By this point in the film, my interest in it had moderately decreased. Over the next hour, my interest continued to dwindle until the climax. Nevena stumbles across a village and uses the shape-shifting technique she observed from Maria to kill a villager and take over their body. She killed Boslika, who had just given birth, and Nevena integrates into her life. As Boslika, she slowly learns human emotions like laughing and crying. Throughout the film, she follows the same process to turn into a dog, a young man named Boris, and a child named Biljana. With each transformation, she learns something new about being human. The downside and my biggest criticism against this film is that she kills many innocents without consequences. The film tries to show that growth and maturity come from a diverse set of viewpoints. However, the main theme does not hit home for me. It's hard to accept the theme when Nevena robs these individuals of their life and then fills in for them. It seems very unethical to me and torturous to the families of the victims. Eventually, Nevena grows up as Biljana, falls in love, and has a daughter. To her horror, Maria cuts her baby's throat. Again, this is a hard scene to watch. To keep her daughter alive, Nevena curses her to become a witch. The film tries to portray this as a loving and moving scene by showing Maria crying, but I'd argue it does the opposite. Nevena used unnatural and dark powers to take over a body, give birth, and when her child died, she used further unnatural, dark powers to resurrect her child. For me, this shows that Nevena is not the mature individual this film would like us to believe. The most human thing she could have done was accept her loss and move on. Instead, she condemns her child to a fate worse than death. As a result, this film did not resonate with me in the slightest. After watching the introductory scenes, I thought the plot had some potential, but I was quickly disappointed. There were too many things that stuck out like sore thumbs, so the themes the movie wanted to get across didn't stick. When it comes to the acting, it felt scattered. Noomi Rapace does a good job with her facial expressions, but the rest of the actors fail to impress. Overall, they do an okay job. Unfortunately, their characters seem boring and nonsensical at times. I don't understand how they can't see the wolf standing in their midst even if she's wearing sheep's clothing. Their Macedonian folklore should have helped them pinpoint Nevena and kill her. Considering the direction and pace, I found this film to be monotonous and slow. I feel like the story could have been told in a quicker manner with the same impact. Each life Nevena stole had a considerable amount of screen time, but I thought this hurt the film. She didn't learn any sufficient amount of knowledge from her lives, defeating the purpose of stealing them. Keep in mind, the score and soundtrack were not amazing or great. However, the dialogue did have some lines that provoked thought in me. The line that stood out the most to me was from Nevena. This line stood out to me because it directly showed the struggles Nevena was facing before she stumbled into the village. Some things I thought the film did really well were the cinematography and production design. There were some really beautiful forested shots and they helped pull me back into the film. I also enjoyed the 19th century Macedonian village Nevena forcibly assimilates herself into. The village seemed authentic to me and I was more than satisfied with the way it appeared and the way the villagers acted. Unfortunately, I did not like the special effects, or in this case, chase the practical effects. Old Maid Maria had prosthetic makeup on, but it looked horrendous. She didn't look like a burn victim, she looked like Freddy Krueger. It was cheesy and it really broke my immersion in the film. Overall, You Won't Be Alone is a film that I didn't really enjoy. I didn't hate this movie, but I didn't think it was good. The plot didn't keep me engaged and the themes failed to resonate with me. Additionally, the characters, pace, and practical effects were terrible. Trying to end on more positive notes, the acting was okay. What the film really got right were the score, soundtrack, cinematography, and production design. It's too bad a pretty movie doesn't make a good movie. I gave this film a 3.9 out of 10. Whether you love indie films or not, this isn't a movie I'd recommend watching. Thank you for listening to my review of You Won't Be Alone. I'm sorry it was a downer. Hopefully you still enjoyed the video and you leave a like and hit subscribe, and if you did not enjoy the video, leave a like out of pity. If you agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. Also, if there's something you want reviewed, let me know and I'll get to it. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Friends with Benefits. My name is Diego and I'll see you next time.